Today we are going to be installing a DVD drive into a computer. For those of you who don't know, this is the new gaming PC build that I've been working on this channel a lot, and this should be a relatively simple procedure. Famous last words. Alright, let's go ahead and grab this thing over here, and as you can see, there is a adapter. When I got it, it came this way. There's an adapter to go from a SATA power connection to a legacy power connection. Is that actually what it's called, or is it called something else? It's from the days of the IDE plug for connecting things. Okay, let's go ahead and install this thing. Now, here comes the big question. Which slot? This one or this slot? This slot or this slot? Which one do we want to do? And this is really nice, actually, coming from the days of the Windows 95, 98 computers about 20 years ago, when you had to screw in your disk drives, which looks like you still can. Maybe you still have to, I don't know, but it does have little something of a locking mechanism, I guess that is. Yes, it sort of holds it in place on the inside, I think. Something like that. Not entirely sure. How does this thing work? There's a little bit of a pin that goes down underneath, and for some reason it says pull. Okay, so not entirely sure what... Oh, okay, there's another pin underneath, just underneath this push button. I can't really get the camera in there to see, even the other one. But underneath this push button, when the DVD drive goes in, it will push this end up because of the thing that's underneath. So the push button will go down, and there's a little pin down there, which looks like it will go into one of these holes on the DVD drive over here. So then what happens is when you pull on the push button, then it retracts the pin, is what it appears to do. So it will lock in place. Now, which slot do we want to put this thing in? That is a good question. Let's go ahead. The top slot means it will get in the way of these cables. The cable management will be a lot harder. So I think the bottom slot. On the front of the case, it would look nicer to have it in the top slot because, you know, you have your ports and then your DVD drive. But I think on the second slot might be best by way of cable management inside. And it means that if ever I want to play around with the cables in the top here, I don't really have to take the whole DVD drive out to get to the cables. So that may be ideal. On the back of the DVD drive is a SATA port. There is a SATA power connection and a SATA data connection. SATA data connection. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and get this thing into... If you guys are wondering, it's an LG drive. LG DVD drive. Made in March 2007, so that's a fairly old drive. Hopefully it still works after all this amount of time. And let's try... it won't get past the... Oh! It won't get past the locking mechanism because you have to pull the push button. There's one on the other side as well, I think. No? Maybe? Yes? Maybe no? Okay, let's pull this. And let's... Why won't it get past the locking mechanism? I mean, there we go. It went past. It went past. Okay, let's go ahead and... Okay, so you do not need screws. You can indeed put screws if you so choose to do so, which may be a good idea. But this thing locks in place very nicely. It does not want to move. If we pull the lock out, then it can move. Not sure why it didn't go in the... Oh, because this needs to spring up enough. And... there we go. Let's go ahead and set this thing in place. As you can see, it sticks out from the front here because the front here is just the front of the metal, and then the front of the case goes in front of that. So that is that. Let's connect the ports on the inside later when we can actually turn the case around for the camera, but let's deal with the front panel first. The cables do not appear to have gotten disconnected, so that is good. And we can now put this back on almost. Let's go ahead and take out this panel on the inside. Let's turn it this way so that maybe you can see it a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. How does this thing lock in there? Oh, it just, you pull the clamp off. I think you can do that from the inside. There is a clamp on the inside of this. Oh, the clamp is... Oh, you pull the clamp and then pop it out inside the case. That is good, and let's pull the other clamp as well. There we go. This is the DVD drive cover, and this is the back of the DVD drive cover. It's got a bit of a dust filter thing on the inside as well, which is nice. A little bit of a styrofoam there. Oh, it also looks like a visor. Hello there. I am the space guy from the future. I come with blue-rimmed glasses to take over your computer. Anyways, let's go ahead and take over this computer over here and try to put this thing back on. Hopefully, putting it back on will not be as difficult as taking it off, but we shall find out. We shall find out. Okay, let's go ahead and put this on like this. I just played with the locking mechanism. I think it's... Yes, it still is staying in place. Okay, let's make sure I'm not pinching any wires first, and then let's snap the case in place. The front of the case, that is. So, get it around the DVD drive. You can't really see that, unfortunately, because of the camera angles, but the DVD drive is just here. So we need to get it around that, and we need to snap the one corner in place, snap the other corner in place. There we go. Now, we need to put this side in place. The other side did not go in place. Let's try to squeeze the computer. Okay. Let's try to tilt it up this way. There we go. There we go. I believe that's the middle pin, not quite in, but it's close enough for now. Let's go ahead and get these ones in as well. Let's get this one in first, and let's get this one in. There we go. And that sound was louder because the middle pin on that side went in at the same time. So, we now have the front of the case in place. Okay, that is that. Now, let's go ahead and tilt it over this way. And brush it off because the desk apparently is dusty. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. So, as you can see on the front, we now have our DVD drive in place. We can find out if this thing works or not in a minute because we need to wire in the plugs to do so. And it may be a good idea to install a screw as well, but I don't know what screw type that would need. I might have one. Might have one. Alright. So, there we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and proceed. We already have the power cable in here somewhere, and the SATA cable... Where'd it go? Oh, it's over here. Over here. Okay, we have a... Come on. Come on, get out of the bag. You went out of the bag like a million times, and now you won't go out of the bag. Okay. There we go. We have a SATA cable. This is the data cable. This is just a simple loop like that. And it needs to go into the motherboard. Now, in the future, I plan to install that hard drive by buying an extra SATA cable, but for now... So, which SATA port to plug it into? Does it have to be plugged into the next port? The SSD is in 1. Does it have to be plugged into 2, or can it be plugged into 3? Because... You know what, let's just keep it simple and plug it into number 2 port because of the fact that we want to know if it does not work. We want it to be more clear that it is the drive rather than the plug-in cable. Take out as many variables as possible. So, there we go. So, we have a cable. And we can now put this cable into the drive. Cable management would probably be in order. So let's go ahead and stick this underneath the thing over here. Like, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Let's stick it through this way and bring it up this way. And then we can go ahead and turn the cable around and plug it in to the, where'd it go? There it is! It's down on the drive over that way, near the bottom of the drive, from this perspective. And that is the SATA data connection connected. And now we can get the power connection. Now, the power connection is really nice because it has here, this is the SATA power connection, and it is currently going to the SSD, which is right here. And then from there, it proceeds to have multiple power plugs on one cable, which is very nice indeed. So we can go ahead and grab those out of there, which, what's it stuck on? Don't want to pull too hard. Oh, the plug rotated somehow in the back of the thing somehow, I think, maybe. There we go, almost. We got it out a couple more inches. That's the only problem with cable management, is then your cables get stuck in the little areas that you send them into, and they do not want to come out. So that is a bit of a problem. Okay. What is it stuck on? What is it stuck on? There we go. Got it, got it. No need to panic, no need to panic. Okay, oh, almost got it. Need to get it out past this thick wire over here. Past the thick... Why are you making this difficult, wire? Why are you making this difficult? Okay, let's hold the wires up with that hand, pull this out with the other hand, and hopefully it turns into a handy situation. There we go. We got it out. Okay. Now, this is the SATA power connection, which for some reason is wider than the data connection. Not entirely sure why that is. If any of you guys happen to know why it is wider, then let me know. But in any case, we shall proceed to plug this thing in and test if the drive works, because we shall be able to open the drive if it does indeed work. And which way does it go in? Which way does it go in? That is a good question. Which way does it go in? I can't even tell. Can't even tell. Let's see. Okay, it looks like it goes in the other way around, which is good because this plug is close enough to the bottom of the shelf that it will, the wire kind of has to go up that way because it's a right angle plug. So the wire kind of has to go up that way, or else the wire won't have enough room. So it's good that it does indeed appear to be needing to go up that way. I can't quite see it in there properly. No, maybe it needs to go the other way. Maybe it does need to go the other way. Okay, let's try to get it in the other way. It may, in fact, be necessary to switch the DVD drive into the other slot. If so, then I shall try to do it without taking the front of the case off. I think it... Let's go ahead and pull the drive back a bit into the computer to get it out of the way of the... Whoa, this thing comes right off, apparently. Here is the locking mechanism. So you can see that there's a pin on the one side. So it was going this way. The drive would slide in this way, and this pin would get pushed up, which would push these pins, these two pins, down. And then you go ahead and pull on this, which pulls the pins up, and there's a spring underneath and stuff like that. That's the mechanism. Anyways, let's go ahead and snap this back into place after pushing the... Why won't it go back any... Oh, because there's a screw behind it. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. So why won't it go back any farther? No idea. No idea. But I think it's far enough back to test the theory. So let's go ahead and put the locking mechanism back in first. And then it is almost in. It is now in. Okay. Then, actually, let's take it out. It seems to be bending the mechanism being back this far. Okay, let's go ahead and try to put in that. Where'd it go? There's the power connection. Let's try to put it in this way and see if it does indeed require being placed in this direction. And yes, it does. Okay. So the power connection needs to be facing down. So what that means is that we need to put it in the other slot. Now, is it possible to do this without taking the front cover of the case off completely? That is the question. And we shall find out after this thing comes back out. The power plug does not want to come out of the DVD drive. Oh, it came out. Okay, there we go. That is good. That is good indeed. Okay, let's unplug the other SATA connection, and now let's go ahead and slide the drive out the front of the case, because it does indeed come out the front of the case. And let's try one more time, but not taking the front of the case off this time. We know how the inside works. We know that the front panel has to come out through the inside. So let's go ahead and do that, unless it just slides right down. The older computers, the 20-year-old computers, I used to put DVD drives in fairly frequently, just for the fun of it. And the front cover things on the front of the case would just come out. Well, they would just come out, but they would be able to move down a slot very easily. They just sort of slid back and forth. This one does not appear to be doing that. However, it does appear to be going in place. I popped it out, and then moved it down, and then popped it back in the lower slot, and move a couple of wires out of the way. Alright, let's go ahead and try to put in the DVD drive once again, and see if this will work. Alright. So move that over to there, just get the wires out of the way. Okay, let's go ahead and do this in the top slot. Cable management may be slightly more difficult because the cables will have to go around this drive, but it may indeed be doable. There we go, and now the drive is in place in the top slot. And now we can go ahead and connect our cables once again. We can connect the SATA data cable right there, and then we can connect the SATA power cable into the slot right underneath it. Come on, come on, where it went in before. Why didn't it go in now? Aha, there we go. Let's make sure it's in all the way. The data cable just kind of latched right in there just easily, and the power cable kind of had to push it a bit. But now it is in, and the drive appears to be locked in position, which is good. And I think I'll not bother with a screw on it. Unless you guys think I should put a screw, then let me know in the comments. But that appears to be that. The SATA cable is plugged in the other side. The DVD drive has power and has a SATA connection. So now let's go ahead and tilt the computer up. Looks like everything is in order. Looks like we didn't mess anything else up, which is good. Okay, and let's go ahead and turn this thing on. You can see it has a very nice look on the front. Now, this is the ideal look if the light wasn't shining on it weirdly. So there we go. The DVD drive is right underneath the ports on the front, which is excellent indeed. Okay, now let's go ahead and start this thing and see if the DVD drive will work. Let's just get the screen over here. Alright, so let's see if this works. I've got the screen off right now, just for the sake of software. I don't know about copyright and stuff. Oh, of course! Turn on the back of the power supply. There we go. Now, let's turn this on. Oh, the DVD drive is flashing. The light is flashing. That is excellent. Okay. And it's starting up, it looks like. It is starting up, and it shall soon, if we can readjust the focus there, it shall soon, there we go. Let's go ahead and try the eject button. I don't know if it is still in startup. Actually, the disk is being read heavily, so it may be in startup. But let's see. Eject! Yes, the disk came out! That is perfect! So, will it actually read? That is another question, but we shall find out. At least the disk drive comes out, which is good. So that is a successful video, successful task, this video, rather. And that is that. So let me know if you guys have any thoughts about the matter or anything like that and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you know anybody who might be helped by a video such as this, then go ahead and share it with them and stuff like that. And see you guys later. Bye-bye!